Hello everybody, welcome to this video on good chess strategy. How do you win the game of chess? What are good moves you need to make, etc, etc. My name is Mark. I am an A-level chess player. My rating goes up and down between 1800 and 1900 levels on a regular basis. And in this video we are going to talk about how to win the game if you have a king and a queen and the other guy just has his king. And if you remember, this is one of the three basic endgame positions you must know if you want to be a good chess player. It does not do any good to study the opening, be really good at tactics, play a game of chess, you win all its pieces, and then you get down to an endgame like this, and you can't win the game because you have no idea what you're doing. You put him in check, and he moves out of the way. You put him in check, he moves out of the way. You put him in check, he moves out of the way. 50 moves later, you put them in check, and it's a draw because the 50 move draw rule, and that's no fun. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to win the game if you have a king and a queen, and he has his king. So first, let's set position up so that we know the final position before queen delivers the final checkmate move. And it's going to look something like this. And so it's white to move in checkmate. White could go here, and if you'll remember, this is also checkmate with the rook, right? But if the rook goes here, that's not checkmate. King can go here, king can go there, right? But with the queen, a queen can also make this move here, has two choices. And this would be a checkmate because king can't go there, and he can't capture because this king is supporting the queen. So this is what the final position would look like. This is the basic checkmating pattern. So a few things you will notice about this position. Number one, king is sitting on the edge of the board. He's not floating out here in the middle anywhere. He's on the edge of the board. He might be on this edge like this, or he might be on this edge over here. As long as he's on the edge of the board, doesn't matter which edge he's on. And then the second thing to notice is that this king is close enough to this king that it will support the queen when she delivers a checkmate. And you could do a checkmate like you did with the rook like this, but you don't have to. You can come across with the queen like this because the queen can move like a rook all the way across straight, but it can also move diagonal. And rooks cannot go diagonal, they can only go straight, and that's why you can't move a rook there because the king can go here and the rook cannot attack diagonally. But with the queen, queen can do a checkmate like that because the queen can attack diagonally. So anyways, that's the second thing you'll notice is that these kings are close enough to each other that this king will support this queen. Third thing you'll notice is that this queen is standing border patrol duty, just like with the rook, so that even if the king was way the heck out here, this king is stuck on the edge of the board, just like with the rook. And the last thing, of course, is that it is white to move and win. So this is the final position before you deliver that checkmate. Another thing to note is that the king could be there, and you could still do the same checkmate, or the king can be there. So king opposition is not necessary. You don't have to be opposite one another like they do with a rook. So let's set the board up like this, put the kings out in the middle of the board, and now what do? How do we deliver checkmate? How do we get this king forced over to the edge of the board? And the good news is that it is easier to force the king to the side of the board with a queen than it is a rook. If you'll remember with the rook, you had we'll set it up. You had to get the rook border patrol, and then you had to get the king opposition. And then you had to slowly keep checking them like this, right? And you had to slowly keep doing it one at a time. But with the king and a queen, you don't have to do all that. With a king and a queen, the queen all by her lonesome can force the king over to the side of the board. And I'll set up a position so that you will easily see what I mean. So if it's black to move, black cannot go here, cannot go there, cannot go there. So black must go here, and then whatever the king does, the queen does the same thing. If the king goes like this, queen does the same thing. If the king goes down like this, queen does the same thing. If the king goes like this, then the queen finally has king trapped on the edge of the board. Now you don't have to move the queen anymore, and you can start bringing the king in like this. So king can only go back and forth like this. King moves, king moves, king moves, king moves, and then the king moves, and then finally delivers that checkmate because she's a queen and it's not a rook, looking like this. And actually this would be a stalemate if this is a rook. That would be pretty embarrassing to get a stalemate. So anyways, putting the queen back on the board like this. So that's basic idea of how you do it. So let's reset the position up like this. put the queen back on the board. Okay, so first thing you have to do is just like with the rook, you have to sign border patrol duty. And there's lots of choices that you can do. You can move the queen here, or you can move the queen over there, set border patrol right there, or you can move it diagonally over here and set border patrol like that. Or you can move it diagonally over here. So there's a lot more choices about where to move the queen uh, if you're trying to set border patrol duty. So the question is, which border patrol do you want to do? And my suggestion is that you try to pick a border that's on this side of the king. So you wouldn't want to move the queen over there, because then if you're forcing the king over to here, maybe this king will bump into each other or something. It's just much easier and much less muddy to pick up border patrol that these kings don't get in the way of each other. So I would suggest try, and if it takes 2 moves, then fine, take the 2 moves. You don't have to be professional here. It's basic king and a queen checkmate. So take your 2 moves, right? You go here, and then if the king goes there, now jump 2 moves so that they're 1 square away from each other. You don't want to go here because then the king captures, right? So you do here so they're 1 square away from each other. And now you go back to copying whatever the king does. So king goes here, and don't fall for this trick, okay? Don't copy it, and then it's black to move, and you get a stalemate draw, right? So if the king goes in the corner like that, move him here, right? And then there's breathing room so the king can go back and forth. So don't fall into that little blunderous trap there. Don't come here and then you get a stalemate. And so that's the basic idea. And then once you get the king stuck on the corner like that, then you start bringing the king in like this, move like this, king moves here until finally moves until it's looking like this, and then you can do the final checkmate. So that's it. That's how you do it. That is the basic technique about how you checkmate with a king and a queen versus a king. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next video.